Welcome to Winning Retirement TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group. And to our viewers at home, we're talking all about retirement and football today. Well, what does that mean exactly? When you think about it, it all takes, like football, preparation, teamwork, and smart play calling. So this is all about don't fumble your future on today's show. Greg, how are you today?
I'm doing great. By the way, OH?
OH?
IO.
Yes.
IO.
Woo, woot.
Yes.
Kristen, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
It's so good to see you both.
How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank
Good.
you so much for asking. I missed being with you, so thank you for allowing me to take a little bit of time off. And
our
I'm
viewers
back.
missed you.
Ah,
I got asked all the time, when's Cynthia coming back? She is coming back, isn't she? And I'm like, don't worry.
aw.
You don't have to stare at me hosting anymore.
No, you did a beautiful job hosting. I had
Thank
no worries whatsoever. You were brilliant.
Thank you.
I have a fun fact, though, and I'm not sure if you've heard this before, if the viewers at home have heard this before, but did you know the NFL once had a team called the Steagles? Now stay with me, the Steagles. During World War II, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers temporarily merged into one team known as the Steagles. In 1943, many players were actually serving in the military. So that's interesting. All right, Greg, certified retirement coach. Wait a minute. Let's start with the preseason of the game. Let's talk about it. Teams spend months getting ready for that first game. How does that equate to retirement?
Well, first of all, I want to go back to the Steagles thing.
Okay, I knew
Can
we
you
would.
imagine Pittsburgh Steelers fans today and Philadelphia Eagles fans coming together and rooting for the same team?
No, I cannot.
Yes, I got to talk with your husband recently,
Yeah.
and I asked him if he thought the Bills and the New York Giants could come together. And
What did he say?
He said no.
I knew it.
Yes. And
Yes.
here in Ohio, of course, the Browns and the Bengals, what we call them, the Brown-Gulls.
I've never
They
heard
both
that
have that
before.
orange color. I don't know who thought of that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
That is so interesting to me. The
it
Broncos.
is.
Okay.
yeah, the Brown-Gulls. I mean, I just can't envision that.
I can't either. Well, who's doing better this year? I know we're early in the season.
Well, they're both doing poorly.
Oh, okay.
But the Browns are doing a little worse.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You're losing me here, all
Wow.
the
The
sports
Browns
talk.
have
I
won
don't
one
know.
game and the Bengals have won two.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All
your
right.
train's getting off the track. You can
It
talk sports
happens.
stats all day long if you let them. But what were you asking?
I was asking how football and practicing and all of the game plans, how does that fit into retirement? I'm thinking it's kind of the same strategy, correct?
Yeah. So you think about preseason during football, right?
Yes.
The time period leading up to the big set of games that happen, right? And so
Yep.
those would be kind of like your working years in retirement.
Okay.
With preseason, you're checking off lists. You're probably studying film. I don't know what those guys are doing,
You're
right?
doing a lot of conditioning.
Conditioning.
Conditioning,
Yes.
weightlifting,
Training.
training.
Yes.
They eat a
Yes.
certain diet during that time period.
That's true.
In working years, you're working out really because you're running around like a crazy person most of the time. If you're in the phase like I have been with kids and
Oh, yeah.
sports and activities and
On the go.
and you're buying a house, maybe you're moving, multiple jobs, maybe career changes. There's all kinds of things happening.
So you're
during those
conditioning your
years.
finances.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
You're working out a plan to save and put money aside for the future. So hopefully, when you get into your 60s, you've done a good job building an nest egg.
Okay.
And that's where, when you turn 60, we're starting a whole new season. You really are a whole new season of new opportunities and new challenges.
Absolutely.
So think of it like this: that new season is when you are building your playbook.
I like that.
You
I do
know?
too.
All the numbers and lines and
The
are
X's
they-
and O's
Yes.
and yeah.
And-
I don't know what any of it means.
I don't
but
either.
Apparently something.
It sounds good that we
Yes.
say it.
Yes, and you need an offensive playbook and a defensive playbook.
Okay.
Your offensive playbook is, where you're going for growth and opportunities and the long term.
Okay.
And your defensive playbook is where you're trying to protect from things like market losses, and you're trying to protect from things like a healthcare crisis, inflation, excessive taxes. All those things are the defensive things that you're really planning for.
Okay.
So what we want is people, when they go out on the field, so to speak, when they transitioned from their working years into their retirement years. We want them to be able to do so with confidence. So how do you become confident that you can actually do that? Well, number one, you need to understand how to build the playbook.
Okay.
What are the things that, what are the things that are so important? Well, they talk all the time in football about the three areas: offensive, defensive, and then special teams.
Special teams. Okay.
Right. So I can remember a few years ago, it's New Year's Eve, it's right near midnight, and our beloved Buckeyes here in town have an opportunity. If they just kick a field goal, they're going to beat the Georgia Bulldogs, and they're going to play for the national championship.
Okay.
Except we're all sitting on the edge of our seat, and as the clock strikes midnight, our place kicker shanks the kick.
Ooh.
We lose the game.
Ooh.
We don't go to the national championship. And it wasn't really a happy New Year because the special teams let us down. I don't know exactly why it went that way. It just went that way. And so many times we're not prepared. We haven't gotten really a sufficient prep or game plan or confidence. And, it could be the kicker just wasn't confident in that moment. I don't know.
Well, planning determines how well the game's going to go. And so I think planning also determines how well your retirement's going to go.
Well, it does. In our playbook for retirement needs to be different than our playbook for preseason.
That makes sense.
It really does.
But also, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people in the viewing audience perhaps are working with an advisor that could specialize in the accumulation phase of life. You need someone in the distribution phase of life. So is that a situation of like switching coaches?
Well,
I'm going to tie that, right?
Yes,
I'm going to tie
that's a
that
really good
together. Wouldn't that
analogy.
be like the same?
In some ways, because when you are working with an advisor throughout your working years and accumulating your wealth, and it's pretty easy to accumulate wealth over those years because you're dollar cost averaging, right? You're putting money in a little bit each paycheck in most cases, and it's growing over time. And so you've got all this time in front of you. And that probably, maybe not switching coaches, but maybe coaching on different parts of the team, right? Because it requires a different type of coach. Ohio State has how many coaches?
Oh, gosh, I don't even know now.
Probably a dozen of them.
Wow. Okay.
And so you've got
Lord.
your special teams coach, your defensive coach, you've got your defensive line coach, you've got your offensive coaches, you've got your head coach.
Yep.
And so as you move out of those accumulating years, it might be time to have more options towards maybe the head coach than you would on your special, whatever line you're on. Coach, I'm not good at talking football terms, so I'm
following
bungling
you
it.
beautifully. Yeah.
Well, let me step in here and help.
I'm following.
Because ultimately we need whoever's coaching us through retirement to understand things like Medicare.
Yes.
Should I get a traditional supplement? Should I get an Advantage plan? What about Part D? What about Part B, Part A? How does it all work together with our supplement? Do I have any restrictions as to where I can go? What depends on which type of plan you choose. So having someone that understands all those concepts of Medicare is really important. What about Social Security? That's a big component of retirement and understanding how it works. It's funny. We had a couple in just recently, and the husband's like, I said, well, how much is your Social Security? And he told me. I said, how much is your wife's Social Security? He said, well, she doesn't qualify for Social Security. I said, what do you mean? Well, she worked for the state, and the state has the windfall elimination provision. I said, in 2024, they eliminated that. So I said, based on what your Social Security amount is, your wife is going to be eligible for about $2,000 a month. He said, no, she's not. I said, trust me, she is.
Wow.
So they came on board. They applied for their Social Security, her Social Security. They came to our investment summit a few weeks back, and he said, by the way, Greg, you're right. We got a check for $12,000 for back pay.
Oh my gosh.
And now she's getting $2,000 a month, simply because I challenged them on something they thought they knew, which happened to be the old rule, but now, according to the new rule, they were eligible.
Wow.
So one little thing, just understanding how Social Security works.
Yes.
That's a big, big deal.
It's huge in retirement.
Whoever's coaching you needs to understand that. But biggest of all is understanding that money works differently in the distribution phase
Yes.
than it does in the accumulation phase. And this is where when you say switching coaches, this is, I would say the majority of the people that come on board at Legacy Retirement Group have already had someone that kind of get them along the path during those accumulation years.
Yes.
But they don't understand all the complexities of those things like Social Security, Medicare, and how to take income securely. That's a big, big deal because, so many times people have told us, hey, our advisor said if we're making 8% a year and we pull out 4%, we'll never lose money. But we find out, no, money works differently when you're taking it out. And they learn that sequence of return risk can make a difference in a retirement plan.
Most definitely. And it's critical that you get it right, especially in the retirement years.
Yes.
Greg, thank you so much. Kristen, thank you. To our viewers at home, are you getting it right in your retirement? Do you need a complete planning review? If you're entering the retirement years and you're unsure of where you stand, this is the perfect opportunity for you to call in today and take advantage of this time. That number is 614-336-7660, 614-336-7660, or you can click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. It takes you right to the landing page, of course, for Legacy Retirement Group. You can schedule your time accordingly. You deserve to have the complete planning review. This is your retirement. You've worked your entire life to get there. Make sure that you have the right players in the game. We'll be right back momentarily. We're talking about retirement and football. Stay tuned.
You've spent your life working, saving, and doing everything right. But when the paychecks stop, are you truly ready? One wrong move, like ignoring taxes, rising healthcare costs, or market risk, could derail everything. In Winning Retirement, advisor Greg Taylor, with over 30 years' experience, shares real stories, smart strategies, and simple steps to help you retire with confidence. Learn how to turn your savings into lasting income, reduce taxes, and protect your legacy. Winning Retirement, because it's your time to win. Download your free copy today at winningretirementbook.com.
Welcome back to Winning Retirement TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group, and we're talking all about how football is a lot like planning for retirement. So thank you for being with us today. We don't want you to fumble your retirement years.
Speaking of fumble,
my. Oh my,
So,
what is this?
Don't drop the ball, Cynthia. You ready?
I think so.
All right, here we go.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I'm going to hold it right here. So I have a fun fact for you. This is actually, the Gatorade shower that everyone thinks about? This is so great. So this is where it started. It was back in 1984 when the Giants nose tackle Jim Burt took playful revenge on Coach Bill Parcells. After a tough week of practice, the player dumped a cooler of orange Gatorade on Coach Parcells following the big win, and that single moment kicked off one of sports' most iconic victory celebrations, kind of like me catching the ball. That was like one of the most iconic.
Where that came from.
I love it. And when you think about it, a lot of deals have really reshaped the game, if you will,
Yes.
NIL deals. I think it's really interesting. Do you want to catch this back?
Sure.
Do you want me to spiral it?
Sure.
Okay. How was that? It was close.
All right.
I mean,
That's good. That's all right.
because I know you have the stand right there.
I should do my Deion Sanders.
Do, and then we have to do the Cam Newton. I mean,
Yeah.
see how we digress on this show. I mean, it goes. Let's talk a little bit college football, though, because NIL deals have reshaped the entire
Yes.
game. Let's talk about how in retirement rules and strategies change as well.
Well, first, I want to talk about my favorite part of the game because I'm not a sports person or an athlete, but my favorite part of the game, especially the college football team we have here in Ohio, is the part where the team starts walking through the tunnel.
Oh, yes.
And all the pomp and circumstance around that. You've got
the
band.
Tears. It's cool.
And you've got the red poofs that they throw up in the air, and the team's walking out, and everyone's pumped up and ready to go, and they hit the edge of that tunnel and just run out over the field, and they take off into their little sections, and they're doing their warm-ups, and that part, my heart gets pumping, and I get into the game, even if I wasn't really in the mood to be at a game, because he loves it, and I'm kind of And so I'm so excited. And if you just picture that, that's how retirement should feel.
I
Retirement
love that.
should be that game day feeling, whether
Yes.
it's tailgating for you, whether it's that moment when the band hits the field or when the team takes the field. It should be exciting. You should be ready to go.
Absolutely.
Not wondering what the plays are going to be. You should already be ready and ready to attack that team. And so when we make this analogy about retirement of football, I feel like it fits so perfectly because
does.
a lot of times you start off with that mood. You start off with that feeling of, I'm going to get that other team. I'm going to, score 5 touchdowns in this game and we're going to win and there's not going to be any hiccups. But the fact of the matter is things do change, right?
They do.
Things change.
Yes.
They
and
do.
maybe the team that you're playing, maybe they succeeded more during their preseason than you did. And so they're going to beat you and you have no idea because you think you're ready to go.
Yes.
And so the NIL thing is one of the areas where the rules have changed quite a bit. And that ties into retirement as well.
Well, it
Most
does.
definitely.
It really does. And what's interesting is we want people, as they're running out of the tunnel, so to speak, to really have a vision of what it is they're running towards. Because there's so much uncertainty when you make a major life change.
Absolutely.
Any major life change.
Of course.
Marriage, first child, and then this is a big one because now you're going from the comfort of everything you've known when it comes to your business or to your career or to your job, and now it's something unknown. And at our investment summit we had a few weeks ago, we talked about, we had one of our favorite people, Reba Bowman, come, who's the founder of Dare for More, and she didn't talk much about her vision, but she talked about finding a new purpose, something to charge through the tunnel for.
Yes.
And having that purpose in your life, something that's bigger than you are, is huge. It really is. Now,
Absolutely.
we have to be able to fund our opportunities and fund our purpose and fund all the things that it is that we're hoping to do as we make this huge transition as we run out of the tunnel. But ultimately, what we want to make sure people know is that you've got to be ready to charge out of the tunnel, but then halftime comes. You got to be able to make halftime adjustments.
Flexibility.
Yes.
Yes.
Because, that can be helping families who are already retired. We've had several families come in recently who've been retired for a few years and then realized their game plan wasn't working. They needed a new game plan. So we've been able to help them adjust. We've had families that we've been helping for a while have life happen.
Of course.
One of our beautiful families, the husband passed away very, very quickly into retirement, totally unforeseen. And the wife, is missing her partner for life, but not beyond that, she now has a totally different financial picture and a totally different tax picture.
Yes.
And so helping a family put the pieces back together when things don't go the way you want them to, that's all part of, retirement coaching.
Absolutely.
So charging out of the tunnel is one thing, but getting through the game of life, that retirement game, it's not really a game at all, but that part of your life, it's so intricate. And having someone to get you through that game plan so that at the end, you come out on the winning side. That's really what it's all about.
And the importance of being able to pivot when things change.
Yes.
That is so key because like you mentioned, we all have things that happen in our life, unexpected things, and you have to be willing to be able to turn on a dime, if you will.
Yes.
Absolutely. Time for our next commercial break. To the viewers at home, there's a number for you to call on your screen. That number is 614-336-7660. What we're talking about today is how the game of football actually correlates with retirement planning. You need to have a game plan. For instance, are you taking too much risk in your portfolio? How would you know that unless you had a portfolio x-ray? This is the perfect time for you to call in, book that consultation today, and make sure that you're aware of how much risk you're currently taking. If you're taking too much, wouldn't you want to know today? Wouldn't you want to make that pivot into a different direction? That number to call is 614-336-7660. Or click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. It takes you right to the landing page of Legacy Retirement Group. You can schedule your time with the team accordingly. Remember, we're talking about retirement and how it correlates with football. You want to make sure that you get the plays right. Stay tuned. We'll be right back momentarily.
work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter, the one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Winning Retirement TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group, and we're talking all about how retirement planning correlates with the game of football. So thank you for being with us today. So this is interesting. The very first American football game was Rutgers versus Princeton back in 1869. It looked a lot different than what we're used to today. No forward passes, just a bunch of guys chaotically kicking the ball, trying to get it across the goal. It was closer to soccer than modern football, which I think is amazing. Yeah. So in football, every team dreams of lifting that championship trophy up in the air, if you will. How can you make sure with retirement that you get that win, that same euphoric feeling for all of your clients?
Well, everybody defines a championship differently.
Ooh.
So just imagine, you mentioned Rutgers and Princeton. Rutgers, I don't believe, probably goes into the season thinking they're going to win the Big Ten. They probably hope to have a winning season, right? So a winning season for them, winning might be winning more than, 6 games, right? Okay. Having that, I mean, they won't tell you that, but that's probably the reality of it. So, it's interesting. We have some people come in and they have very simple requests. I just met with a family, a lovely family. They actually had done quite a good job saving. They saved about $950,000, which for what they did as a career and things, that was an amazing job.
Okay.
And they came in and I said, well, tell me your story. And they did. And then I said, tell me what you want your retirement to look like. And they looked at each other, and looked back at me and said, what do you mean by that? And I said, well, what kind of things would you really be passionate about, or what kind of things do you want to do to enjoy your retirement? And they said, we're really simple people. We and the wife loves gardening. Okay. So she spends all summer long gardening out on their property. And she showed me pictures, just amazing gardener, beautiful.
Oh, flowers or vegetables?
Flowers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And just flower gardens all over their property. And they're like, we spend most of our time at home or at church. Aww. And I said, that's wonderful. I said, do you have grandchildren? Yes. And, we go to their games and we do stuff like that. But they said, pretty much we're homebodies. I said, tell me about your house. Are there any projects you would like to complete? And they said, well, actually, yes. I said, well, tell me about that. Well, I would like to remodel my kitchen. I'd like the bathroom, 60 years old. I said, okay, what do you think that'll cost? And so we started dreaming about how they enjoy home just a little bit more. So for some, a winning retirement is traveling Europe. And, right. And we've got families we help that we're planning 2 or 3 big vacations every single year. Others are wanting to get their home just the way they want it because they're homebodies.
Absolutely.
Others take their grandchildren on special trips and do things fun like that with their family. So it's not really about what it is you do or how you define your championship, but it's about having the confidence that you can accomplish the goals that you've set out.
Well, and here's the thing, and this is true for football or retirement, getting there doesn't happen by accident.
It's true.
As we talked about in the other segments about the planning and the training and all the things, the coaching that go into winning a game, the same is true for retirement. There are steps that need to be taken to ensure that you have a comfortable and confident retirement moving through the years that could last as long as the working years lasted for you.
That's true.
So as we start to look at how do we put together the plans to fit those dreams.
Exactly.
It's important to understand what the dream is before we start wrapping the game plan, if you will, around what that dream is. And for me, I think the most important part of a retiree's plan is understanding how the money is going to work for them. And that
okay.
seems rudimentary, but so many times we meet with families and they really don't have a rhyme or reason behind the different accounts they have. They just have a lot of money.
Yes.
And they have a lot of stuff, but there's not really a sound goal for each of those dollars. And a lot of times you'll hear us talk about the buckets of money or
Yes.
segmenting. I like calling it segmenting your money and understanding that there needs to be money set aside for wants, needs, and emergencies. That
Yes.
sleep well at night money
Yes,
that Greg was just
the
talking
swan.
about the
Yes.
you know, the home projects and the hobbies and the things that you might want to do on a whim that you don't want to sell an investment for. And then having money set aside that's accounted for your income, because income equals lifestyle and retirement.
Absolutely.
And everyone needs different amounts. I think we just met with a client here recently who didn't need any money set aside for income. That was covered. And then, of course, your investment plan, making sure that that plan fits your overall goal for the money and it's comfortable for what you want to do in your retirement years.
And you know, Kristen, that is a fabulous point. Just think about it. There's football players that they're linebackers. They stand behind the front line and they back up the front line. And if the running back gets through, they're the one that's going to tackle them. Just imagine if you said, you know, to the running back or to the linebacker, this week, I don't want you to play linebacker. I want you to play quarterback. Well, they're going to get back there. They're not going to be able to read that defense. They're not going to know exactly how all the plays run. And so what we've got as a problem right now is there's a lot of advisors out there that don't understand where to put the players. So there's insurance products, there's bank products, there's regular investment products.
Right.
They're all three good products, but they work differently and they have a different fit for different purposes. So part of the things you were talking about, money for emergencies, money for income, and money for growth, there's tools that are out there that are great at income, but not that great for growth. Things that are good for income, but not that good for liquidity. So understanding where to put the players is so important in your retirement plan.
Most definitely, to make sure you get it right. Greg, thank you so much. Kristen, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, it's time for you to get it right. How do you do that? Call in today, 614-336-7660. If you're curious where you stand on your retirement journey, go to testmyretirement.com. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We look forward to seeing you back here 1 week from today on Winning Retirement TV. Take care now.